Hello everyone, welcome back. I am so glad that you're here. Are you ready to do this Weathervane slash flower? Just a reminder, here's what we're working on today. In the last video, I asked you to leave your favorite fabrics in the comments, and then that would decide what we worked with today. You guys had a lot of favorites. I'm glad I'm not the only one that has like 10 favorite things. I never have just one. I won't be sewing with all of the colors. I've actually made them ahead. But here is probably the most popular choice, which was this Busy Bee Karma. Such a gorgeous floral. So we're going to be using this one because it was the most popular. But that doesn't mean I didn't use any other fabrics. I used the Albion was another big one, this blue floral. Then we had some of the rosy stripes. Then the Dapple Dot Lodgepole. This is like the most perfect green. This is the green of my dreams. It's not too blue and it doesn't have too much yellow. Do you know what I mean? It is just like the most perfect green. And then I put it with these cute peaches because they are such a light color anyways. And here's what this turned out with those colors. So lots of different people suggested these things, but they just happened to go so well together that I thought I'd show you. So there's that one. And then another option that came up was this Feels Like Home in the River. And this goes so well with the Blossoms Navy. It is such a good combination. And then we added this Leaf Toss Sage. So this one only has 3. But look at that block that came from it. I think that turned out really pretty. I love all of those colors together. And then Riley just finished photographing. Thank you. Do you want to say hi, Riley? Cool. Good talk, babe. Yeah. Good job. You made eye contact. Riley just finished taking pictures of this one. So here's that Busy Bee Karma. Then it goes really well with this 4-leaf crown. I think this is what this gold is called. I've got this Twinkling Ruet as my background. And then this peachy pink as my middle. So these are the colors we're going to be working with today, but I just wanted to showcase all of those fabrics because it amazes me what different fabric choices can make for a block. We'll put those up there so you guys can see them. I did decide, and this is just kind of fun, so thank you for participating and telling me what you'd like. I think I'm going to just sell these little bundles just as is. These are going to be like our special for the week. And the first person to buy each of these bundles will get their coordinating block. And then all of the scraps that I have left over from making this block. And I have written up this pattern. Obviously I didn't make this block. It's not original to me, but I did write down instructions for it. So this is going to be just a cute little $2 pattern, just to pay for my time to write it up. So you will get that pattern, you'll get the cute little bundle, and you'll get this block and my scraps. So I did do the maths for those of you wondering how many blocks you can get out of a half yard, which is what these bundles are. You can totally order them in a yard, but you would definitely need more background. But that's true with any quilt pattern, but you could probably get good chunk of blocks, at least a 9 square quilt top with a half yard, assuming that you bought a little extra more background. I hope that's helpful. Let's just jump into this and stop talking about it. First up, let's talk about our petals. We have 4 4.5-inch squares that are going to be, like I said, I'm calling these petals. This looks like a flower to me. For these petals here, then we have our peachy pink for our middle square. We have 4 3-inch squares of our background and 4 3-inch squares of whatever color you want for these leaves, or they kind of look like arrow tails as well, because those are going to be for our half square triangles. We're going to be doing the 2 at a time method. And then we have 4 2.5 golds, which are actually the solid square here in the corner of these petals. And then we have 12 2.5-inch background squares, and that's where you lose a lot of your half yard, is in these 2.5-inch squares. So we have the corners, there's our 4, And then we use 2.5-inch squares to get us this kind of like point on the petal. So there's kind of like a quick run through. Let's actually put it together. Let's do our half square triangles first and get those out of the way because they're the worst because you have to trim them. On the back of all of my light ones, I have drawn a diagonal. We are going to sew a 1/4 inch to the left of this diagonal and a 1/4 inch to the right. I'm going to put right sides together on that one. I almost sewed that one upside down. And again, 1/4 inch on both sides of that line. Ready? And there those all are. Let me show you a quick close-up of those seams. We've got our 1/4 inch seam allowance on both sides, if it will let you. Oh, there it goes. Heavens. But there you can see both of those seams on there. Now using a ruler and a rotary cutter, we are going to cut right on that diagonal that we've drawn. And this is the 2 at a time method for half square triangles. They have lots of like 2 at a time, 4 at a time, 8 at a time method. But I think the part that I love the most about this is that you make half square triangles with no waste. I like that a lot. I'm going to iron these half square triangles. I'm going to put the light side up and over. And then when we get all of that ironed, we will trim. Here we go. And there they all are, ironed nice and neatly. And of course, because my iron is such magic, it did all of the trimming for me. It's pretty awesome. But we are going to work on this last one together. If you are tired of trimming half square triangles with me, then too bad, because we still get to do it forever and ever. This is just one of those things that just never ends. Okay, we are going to make these into 2.5-inch half square triangles. You're not going to be trimming a lot off all around. But what we are going to do is we're going to line up the 45-degree angle in our ruler with the angle in our half square triangle. And since we want 2.5 inches, I'm going to leave a little bit extra down here so that's a little bit bigger. That way I can trim from this side and then trim from the other one. It gets the dog ears too when we trim this way, and it just kind of evens it out on both sides. So we'll line up that angle. We'll trim off the right and the top, just our little tiny baby scraps. And then we're going to rotate, and with this good clean side that we have, we're going to line that directly up with the 2.5. And since we used the 45 in the beginning, the 45 should line up on its own again. And just make sure that it is, because we want nice, straight, even half square triangles. And using that 45, make sure that both of our triangles are equal. All right. I don't like doing it, but I love the outcome. I love how crisp they are. We're going to put these off to the side just for now. When we have all of our pieces, then we'll do a dry fit. We're going to move over to our petals, and we're going to add our background squares to give our petals that point. This is where we're going to use the most of our 2.5-inch squares from our background. Let me draw a diagonal on this one just so that I can talk you through it and it makes a little bit more sense. I use the lines on my machine to sew these diagonals, but for sanity's sake, I'll show you. So here I have my 2.5-inch square triangles. If you need to draw the line, that is a-okay. Do it on 8 of these squares. Nope, that's not right. Do it on 2, 4, 6. Oh, yeah, 8. Do it on 8 of these squares. We are going to put one square in the top right corner, and then we will be putting another in the top left. Our angles will go opposite of each other, so they'll meet in the middle and then come out. We obviously can't do 2 of those at a time. This is just to show you. We're going to do a little bit of batch piecing with this one, though. I'm going to do the right corner in all 4 of these squares, and then we will trim and iron, and then we'll add our left in the batch again. Let's get through this, and then we'll talk about trimming and ironing. All right, here are all of those squares, batch pieced, chain pieced, all the pieced names. They're all connected here, so we're just going to snip them apart. And this is the same process that we're actually going to be repeating for the left-hand side. So as soon as we get through this one, then we'll just magic through the other half. Using our ruler, we are going to find that... we're going to find the 1/4 inch line. Don't throw your ruler. It's hard to find things on it when you throw it. And we're going to put that 1/4 inch line right on our seam. And then we are going to trim that 1/4 inch seam allowance there. And again, that seam allowance is important. That way our fabrics don't fray and come apart. That gives us a nice little safety area for our fabrics to stay strong together. We're going to cut the rest of these, and then we are going to iron this corner up and over. And here is your friendly reminder to be careful when you're ironing those corners. Those triangles will want to warp on you, and especially if you do spray, when that fabric is wet, it'll really want to warp. So just gentle, set the seam, gently fold that corner up and over, and then press and spray, and you'll be good to go. So let's iron. Now we'll just have to work on the magic where they come back to me. How do I get the ironing table to throw them back? You know, because heaven forbid I walk and pick them up myself. Here is the outcome of that first corner, and now we just get to add the other side, and we are doing the same exact process for this one as well. Let's do it. And there we have all of our petals or points, whatever you want to call them. Here they have all 4 of them. Let's clean up a little bit, and then we can dry fit this. We finally made it. All right, here is our center, so we'll just start there. That seems safe. Okay, but let's not put it so close towards the edge that I can't keep it on the table. All right. Our tops and our sides. This is already looking absolutely adorable. There we go. We're going to add our golden 2.5 squares, so the corner of these little leaves here, right in the bottom. And then we're going to get 2 of our 1/2 square triangles, and the golds will be pointing at each other right here in the corners. Repeat. And then last but not least, our last 4 2.5 inch background squares go in these corners. Looks like we have some leaves to make, / arrow tails / whatever you want to call this piece. Unit B. That's what it's called in the pattern. Let's put these together. Excuse me. Why did you not magic your friends? That was really rude of that corner not to finish the rest of them. I mean, what do I look like? I have the time to sew all these pieces together? That was supposed to be funny. Hopefully it was funny and not weird. Let's magic the rest. And there we have it. Was it really that hard to do all 4 at one time? Apparently. All right, let's start assembling these rows. We're going to put these corners onto their middle. There's 1 row. Now we're going to add our petals to the middle. And then we are going to add the bottom corners to this middle piece. And now we have 3 rows that we get to magically smush together. And magically, here we have it. That turned out so pretty. I don't know what it is with this gold and this floral, but they always need to be together. Always. It must be a requirement because they are so pretty. I love that one. And there we have the Weathervane block, or the flower if that's what you see like me. Whatever you want to call it, there it is in 3 different ways, and it is so cute. I love that each of them have their own little personality here. While I was putting that one together, I was thinking about measurements and how I told you that from this bundle, you could probably get 9 blocks. These are 12.5 unfinished blocks. That's the goal here. But I also thought this bundle particular only has 3 fabrics because we use that navy twice. So I think instead of the 9 blocks that you would get from the half yards, you'd probably only get 6. But I'm obviously bad at math, so don't be upset if I'm wrong. This bundle, this one, and this one will be listed in my shop, and I will have the pattern up there as well. But if you are the first one to order, then you get the coordinating block with your bundle and all of my scraps. So we did it. We will see you on Thursday. We still have not picked a new quilt along, so we'll probably just be doing another cute block like this. But I'm always open to suggestions if there's something in particular that you're stumped on, or maybe a pattern that you've been loving that you would like to see. Leave it in a comment and maybe it'll get picked for our next video. So until next time, friends, we'll see you. Bye.